let's look at what I've been working on in October. So welcome back to any returning viewers, and to any new viewers a very warm welcome to you. As I mentioned in the opening to the video, today we're taking a look at the things I've been working on in October. So before we jump straight into that, let's have a look at what I am wearing. So this is my Jethro cardigan, which is a Tannis Fibre Arts, I believe, pattern. So we've got these crochet granny squares and knitted sleeves and button band and a knitted hem as well. And the sleeves are sort of riding up a bit today, which is fine. These are my bracelets and watch free when I'm wearing them. When I first knit it, they were full length, so I don't know. Either I've got a bit more broader or the sleeves got a little bit shorter. It doesn't matter too much either way. This is worked out of West Yorkshire Spinners yarn. The granny squares are all in sock yarn that's been held double, so fingering weight, and the knitted portions are in DK. Now, because it's a DK pattern, so I just held the yarn that I had, the leftover skeins that I had, double to do the granny squares, and I think it's worked out rather nicely. And as it's Halloween weekend, I am wearing that over my seasonal t-shirt, which is just a shop bought, well, commercially bought, paranormal activity t-shirt. Got to have a bit of a nod to the season, haven't we? Okay, so moving swiftly onwards to finished items. I've not got very many finished objects this month. I've not got very many works in progress either. Part of that being October is the Stephen West MCAL month. So I will give you an update on my Musical shawl towards the end. So if you are spoiler averse, that will be coming up at the end. So that you know I am not finished on it. So you're not going to see the full shawl this month from me. It will be done by next month, so I'm not that far off. Okay, so my first finished object is the October gnome. This came out rather larger than I thought it would. I don't know why, because the pattern very clearly said 10.5 inches tall. Somehow in my head I thought it was going to be smaller. So this is Gnome de Plume. So Natalia, I believe, is the name for the gnome in this pattern. It's an imagined landscape pattern. I've taken photos. I just need to upload them to the forum for the knit along. So yeah, this has been worked up in partial skeins, leftover yarns from various bits and bobs. So I've gone with a dark green for the body, light green for the leaf tip of the hat, the beard and the braids. And I thought I'd contrast that with a nice little raspberry for the nose and hands, and then a nice neutral grey for the hat. I did have to add in a different yarn for the very tip of the hat for the grey, because I ran out. But I mean, we're getting through our partial skeins. This is a good thing. Yeah, the hat was a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. I don't normally do the grey hats for the gnomes, but I thought with the stitch pattern on here, a lighter colour would be more effective. And it does mean that the gnome will contrast to the other ones that I've got. As I don't normally, I've only been doing them this year. There are some with like grey stripes in their hats and white stripes in their hats, but not like an all over grey. So that's October's gnome. I still have obviously 2 gnomes to go, November and December, as if you didn't know the months of the year. I'm pondering whether or not I do the mystery gnome this December. My first gnome was last year's mystery December gnome. So we shall see. So we'll have a baker's dozen by the time we get to 2026, and then I'll take a break from gnomes for a while. Okay, so we'll pop the gnome to one side, and we'll take a little look at my other finished object for October. I say finished, it does still need a little bit of tidying up on the fringe. I need to comb out the tassels a bit, I think, because they are, where I've unplied them, they are trying to twist on themselves, so I might spray them down and comb them. And then once that's done, I will do a straighter cut across the bottom before attaching a hanging loop and hanging up this macrame weaving project, which I did share in a video last week before. My most recent video. I'll try and remember to put a link up, but if not, it'll be showing on my channel page. So yes, this was a kit from Wool Couture, a nice, simple, relatively quick project. As I mentioned in the video, the kit doesn't come with the pole, you have to find your own pole. But yeah, it was a nice, pleasant project, and it's going to look rather sweet, hung up on the wall, wherever I decide to put it. Nice neutral shades, although obviously there's colour in it, they're not like big bold colours, so it should be able to fit into most places. So whether that'll end up in a crafty space or in the hall, who knows, yet to be decided. But yeah, I can see me doing more of these sorts of projects. I have dabbled in macrame and weaving before. I do have more weaving projects to complete, so I really ought to go on with those. Macrame I've only sort of very, very basically dabbled in. But this only took, for the main part of the project, 2 different knots, and they're relatively simple knots. The only other exception would be the Lux head which goes over the pole, which you do in, I think, pretty much certainly every macrame project that's going to be hanging over something. That's also a very simple knot, so you're not complicated. And yeah, I wouldn't mind doing a bit more macrame artwork type things to hang up on the wall. Maybe some window trip dressings as well. Maybe for the bathroom or the kitchen or something. But we'll see. So that's my finished objects, just the 2 this month. So like I say, a lot of the month has been taken up with the Stephen West shawl, which I won't show until the end of the video. So rather than going on to my works in progress now, let's talk plans, things that I'm going to be doing over the next month or so. I mean, obviously, there are projects we know about. There is the sweater from the yarn they bought on honeymoon that I need to finish. That will be its own video coming up at some point, hopefully in the next couple of months. So yeah, there are bits and bobs that are on the go and need doing, like sewing tops and things. I have a couple of sewing projects cut out, so they should have been sewn up by now, that have not, so they need to get done. They should be done early in November, so we'll see them next month. But let's pick up a knitting project that I think it was last month I finished this one. I have now blocked my centre point popover, and eagle-eyed viewers will notice that it's not really grown any. So when I put it on, it's fine over dresses. It's about 1.5 inches, 2 inches higher than where I wear most of my trouser waistbands. So a little bit more cropped than I would like. And when I put my arms up, it jumps over my boobs. So the plan is, at some point in the next few weeks, to pick up the hemline and knit another couple of inches of this texture on the bottom, so that when I lift my arms up, I'm not flashing the world, because that's not the look I'm going for. I think a couple of inches should do it. That should then make the jumper sit sort of around my waistband, just below my waistbands on like jeans and things, which I think will make it more wearable for me. I enjoyed making it. It's a nice jumper. It looks good when it's on. It's just a tiny bit too short for what I would be looking for. You may remember that I had some slight uneven shaping in the shoulders where I messed up the decrease rates. Blocking it has minimised that, so that's a good thing. But, I mean, I say blocking it, I washed it how I would wash it normally, because things, once they've been blocked and then they get washed, they do their own thing when they dry if you don't like pin them out again. I knew I wasn't going to be pinning this out every time I washed it. So I washed it and hung it on the Aira. And yeah, the silk content in the wool, because it's Holster tied, so it's wool and silk blend. The silk content had just prevented it from growing, which is fine. So yeah, so bit of an adjustment to do on that one, which is one of my plans. And I have a new cast on to start as well, which is this in this little organza bag. So in here I have some of one of my looms. This is what I used to do my gauge swatch on. So I have obviously more pegs. And this is going to be a loom knit hat. So we have a yellow and a blue. So it's a 2-layered hat. The yellow will be the lining, the blue will be a lace outer layer. I will put on the screen a photograph from the book that I'm taking the pattern from. It's the beginner's Guide to Knitting on a Loom. That's the book that I'm using. So that hat will be started soon. We'll have a new hat for the winter, assuming it fits, because I do have quite a large head. But it'll be an interesting project to do. I've not done much loom knitting, and I've certainly not done anything, lots of wearable or lace-based or anything. So that'll be interesting. The yarn itself is Silky Merino. It's a Malabrigo yarn. So it's the same blend of fibres as was used for the sample in the book, just a different brand. I think it was Manos de Uruguay in the book, but I'll have to double check that. Okay, so those are my main plans for the next couple of months. So let's move on to works in progress. I have two. So first up, I showed you the start of this last month. I have got a little bit further on, but as I say, Stephen West month, so only so much has been done on this project. I am at the point where I'm going to be starting to work where I have started to work the diamond pattern that will go up the back of the Folk Fest vest. So it is coming along. We made some progress. We've got the hemline here. So yeah, next is working the central back panel as well as shaping the underarms, or the fronts, I believe. There's shaping as going on at the same time as working the centre back panel. So that's coming along nicely. I do like the way that the two-colour garter stitch is working up. I mean, it's not the highest contrast between my two yarns. I've kept it fairly neutral, but I think that's quite nice. It's quite a subtle little detail. I think it'll be a bit more obvious in the back. It's a slip stitch motif that you're working. So you've got the sort of diamondy shape there, and it'll be a larger version of that up the back. So yeah, so I am enjoying that. Hopefully we'll get that finished in the next couple of weeks so that I can wear it, because it'll be a good layering piece for when it's, not freezing cold, but not warm. So hopefully I'll be able to get that worn a little bit this year. And then as we get into the tail end of winter, again, into the spring. So I think it's going to be a really useful garment once it's done. So that's a Togu Tiku pattern, so Ina Berenkamp. Really not good with her surname, it just doesn't stick in my head. But yeah, I do like her designs. She does knit-alongs as well with Zoom meetings, so you can get to sort of meet her as you're working on the projects if you take part in those, which is rather lovely. And yeah, there's always a bit of ingenuity to the patterns, at least to the ones that I've knit of hers anyway, so interesting constructions, that kind of thing. And she does do patterns with a healthy dose of whimsy. So she's done mushroom hats, flower hats, that kind of thing. So yeah, so that's my main work in progress. Now, if you do not want spoilers for the musicale shawl, thank you for your time today, and I will see you next time. If you don't mind spoilers, or if you've already finished the shawl, I am about to share my progress on this year's Stephen West Mystery Knit-along. Now, I am working in, it's four colour shawl. So I have 3 colours from Yarnsmiths, which is Wool Warehouse's own brand. It's all fingering weight, and I have 1 from Peak District Yarns. So the Peak District Yarns, if I just grab their label. So Peak District Yarns is in Stanton Moor. They are a hand-dyed yarn company based in the Peak District, based around sort of Bakewell somewhere. And they dye yarn inspired by the local landscape. So Stanton Moor is a place in the Peak District. And then the Yarnsmiths colours that I am working with. So merino sock. So yeah, very much a merino themed shawl. So I have this shade, this sort of tealy shade. The website called this deep teal. Then we have deep purples. This is more of a sort of burgundy purple, or sort of deep plum. This one is, so yeah, burgundy purple, plummy colour. And then we have blueberry, which is more of a royal purple. So I wrote the names from the website on the ball band because they just had the shade codes on there. So those are the yarns that I am working with. If I show you what I've got, the Peak District one as well, actually. So yeah, that's Stanton Moor. So it's like a grey purple. So definite sort of bluey, purpley, grey theme going on with this shawl. I have completed the first 3 clues. I have not yet started the 4th clue that came out last week. So that'll be probably this afternoon that I'll start doing that now that I've finished the gnome. I took a pause to do my October gnome. So the first section, which was clue 1, is this scallopy section here. So we've got welts and brioche and eyelets and garter stitch going on. So that was an interesting order of construction. The stitches themselves were nice and straightforward. It was just where to start each scallop was the confusing bit there. The second clue, which is section 2, is this squiggles, how Stephen's described it in the pattern. If I just spread those stitches out on my cable a bit. So yeah, this wavy section. So we've got eyelets and garter stitch going on here. So again, nice straightforward knit. This clue was actually quite a lot of fun to do because it was not too taxing. So it was good sort of TV knitting. So there were short rows and things going on, but it wasn't, complicated. So yeah, the waves are closer together at this end, and the eyelets probably, well, I don't know if they're picking up on the camera, but yeah, the eyelets pop a bit more at this end. I'll show more up when it's blocked. And then at this end, because of the short rows, things are a bit more spread out. Now, clue 3 was a much bigger clue and included 2 sections. If I just adjust my stitches again so that I can show them to you. So section 3 is this diamond section. The modularly knit in the 4 colours. Quite a contrast to the undulating section on the other side. And then section 4 is this little bit of mosaic brick pattern wedge here. So yeah, you've got waves and swirls and undulations on one side and a much more geometric, rigid, staccato kind of feel to the other side. So now all I've got to do is the border, which as I understand it should be fairly straightforward, nothing that hasn't been done before, and there are a couple of options in there for extending the length of the border depending on how much yarn you've got left, so I will decide whether or not I'm going to do that as I go. So that is all I have for you this week. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. In the meantime, there's this one here which may be of interest to you, and I will see you soon. But until then, happy crafting and bye-bye for now.